Okay, bonjour, Year 10. Welcome once again to your next lesson for our GCSE French. This is lesson 5. It's fumer, smoking. Coming from the English word fumes, smoke. Right, so this has been on the syllabus for years and years and years. It's come up every single year that I can remember, whether it's in reading, writing, speaking, listening, because French people's attitudes towards smoking are a lot different than ours here in the UK. It's not unusual to see very, very young children smoking. As an example, when I worked in France, the school that I worked at had a separate smoking area for the pupils. It's unbelievable to think like that. The government are trying to sort that out because it's obviously not good from a public health point of view. It's not a good look. And they're getting there, and you'll see on the next slide a couple of adverts for anti-smoking, which are quite hard-hitting. But it's a decent topic to give reasons, to discuss, to give opinions and things like that, and that's exactly what we're going to get into. But first of all, those anti-smoking adverts. But before we start, I would just like to thank everybody who has still been uploading work to Moodle, to my email address as well. If you haven't done so, you please try to do so, because the more that you keep up to date with the work that has been set online, the easier things will be for you when we get back to any sort of normality. Hopefully that'll be September, but if not, at least you've done something in the lockdown time. So, right, here we go. By the way, before I begin, if there are any issues with the work, you can always contact me on Hub, carletonm@hubcymru.net, or if it's very technical, Mr. Lewis at lewisd138@hubcymru.net. Okay, right, so here we have number 1 of our anti-smoking adverts. So they don't pull any punches. Here you have a guy who's breathing out some smoke, and it's obviously the smoke is forming like a ghoulish face, or perhaps a skull. This is for World No Tobacco Day, and what they're saying here is "Parlez-nous avant qu'il ne soit trop tard." Speak to us before it's too late. So quite a shocking image, but this is the track that the government are going down, the French government. Very simple. J'arrête, I'm quitting, or I'm stopping. For anti-smoking centres, so Centre d'Abandon du Tabagisme, just kind of speaks for itself. There we've got cartoons. These will appear in newspapers, magazines, and you've got a knife through a cigarette. Quite a powerful image. Tu la clope. Now, a clope is a slang term for a cigarette. I guess the equivalent would be a fag or a ciggy or something like that. So it killed as a fag before it kills you. Tu la clope avant qu'elle ne te tue. Finally there, you'll have recognised these from cigarette packets in this country. You've got "Fumer provoque le cancer mortel du poumon." Smoking provokes or causes le cancer mortel, fatal cancer du poumon. Now, obviously, we've never seen the word poumon before, but there it is, lung. Smoking provokes fatal lung cancer. So bear that in mind later on for when we do some reading and listening. Sometimes you'll see a word that you've never ever seen before, but the thing that, the imagery around it, or what the words that come before it, might help you figure it out. We wouldn't know what poumon was, but given what we're talking about and given what's in front of you, we figured it out. That's an exam technique. Okay, so to begin, I would say this opening question, or this opening activity, would be foundation style, purely because of the amount of cognates that we have in there. Now, a cognate is your best friend when it comes to learning languages. It's any word that looks or sounds similar or the same to English. So all you have to do here is just read each statement and match them up with the English underneath. There are 10. I'll read them out just so you can hear what the language sounds like. Here we go. A. Ça rend dépendant. C'est relaxant. C'est complètement antisocial. Le tabagisme passif est dangereux. C'est dur d'arrêter. C'est mauvais pour la santé. on a l'air cool, ça coûte cher, c'est mauvais pour les enfants, and finally, ça réduit la fertilité. Okay, so obviously what we need to do is put those letters next to the correct English statement, but before we do that, a word on the pronunciation here. There's a lot of cognates, which is great when it comes to reading. If it looks like English, chances are it might be the same thing. Not always, but most of the time. However, when it comes to speaking and using cognates, it's really, really important that we make a big effort not to slip into English. For example, then look, ça rend dépendant. If I'm rushing, if I'm panicked, I might say ça rend dependent. You don't be doing that. That's a really, really huge error. Yes, it shows that you know the vocabulary, but from a speaking exam point of view, that's going to really cost you some marks because you sound in English. Ça rend dépendant. Now, I don't know if you can hear what I'm doing there, but I'm splitting that word up into syllables, taking that extra, half a second. It's not costing me much, but by splitting up into syllables, taking that little bit of time, I'm saying the word correctly. Dépendant. Relaxant, antisocial instead of antisocial, dangereux, fertilité. Okay, something to bear in mind for later on. Okay, so it's hard to quit, c'est dur d'arrêter, It looks cool, on a l'air cool. It reduces fertility. Ça réduit la fertilité. It's addictive. Ça rend dépendant. Literally, that would mean it makes you dependent, but it's the same sort of thing. It's bad for your health. Where are we? C'est mauvais pour la santé. F. Other side, c'est mauvais pour les enfants. Perhaps you didn't know what the word bad was in French, but you might know that children is enfants. Hence your answer, c'est mauvais pour les enfants. Aye. It's relaxing, c'est relaxant. It costs a lot of money. Ça coûte cher. It's totally antisocial. C'est complètement antisocial. And finally, passive smoking is dangerous. Le tabagisme passif est dangereux. Okay, great. So, as I say, foundation style, reading, bread and butter really, hopefully, but please feel free to use these statements in your work later on. Okay, so now we have a similar type of exercise, but what we need to do here is put who's for and against here, qui est pour et qui est contre, who's for and who's against smoking, and we've got 6 phrases. Now, some of these phrases will contain items of vocabulary from previous lessons, hence, if you are keeping up with these lessons, you should find that you've got the notes there somewhere. If you haven't, and this is your first attempt at one of these French lessons, you might find things a little bit more difficult. I'll read them out as ever, just so you can get used to the vocabulary, how it sounds. All you need to do is put a P or a C next to it. So number 1, je n'ai jamais fumé. Je trouve ça dégoûtant. Have a think about the word dégoûtant. What could it sound like? And think about the words there in bold. Je n'ai jamais fumé. We've had that before. Dégoûtant. What does that sound like to you in English? Number 2 then. Les cigarettes coûtent très cher. À mon avis, c'est du gaspillage. I know that you do not know the word gaspillage. I also know that it shouldn't really matter at this point, because we should understand the first sentence in that statement. Les cigarettes coûtent très cher. I'll get to what it means fully at the end. Number 3 then. Selon moi, c'est déstressant. Déstressant. Je fume avec mes copains. Okay. 4. Selon moi, c'est stupide. Je déteste l'odeur des cigarettes. Hopefully that's quite straightforward for us too. 5. Je suis dépendante. Je trouve que fumer me donne confiance. Using je trouve here rather than je pense, a different way to introduce your opinion. Confiance. Does that sound like anything in English? Confiance. Je trouve que fumer me donne confiance. Who could me be in this sentence? All things to consider. And finally, number 6. Ma tante a fumé et elle est morte d'un cancer des poumons. So, who is ma tante? What did she do? And what happened? All things to consider. Okay, so all you need to do really is 1 to 6 and then P or C. Answers are coming up now. Alright, je n'ai jamais fumé, je trouve ça dégoûtant. I have never smoked. I find it disgusting. So that is a C. Dégoûtant, disgusting. Number 2, les cigarettes coûtent très cher. À mon avis, c'est du gaspillage. Cigarettes are very expensive, or cost very expensive. In my opinion, it's a waste. C'est du gaspillage. It's a waste, as in a waste of money. Gaspillage. The L there's like a E sound. Gaspillage. The double L, rather. So that's also a C. 3. Selon moi. Okay, I like this phrase, but you sound ridiculous speaking like this in English. It's another way to introduce your opinion rather than je pense que. According to me, selon moi. Don't speak like this in English. According to me, selon moi. C'est déstressant. It's de-stressing. It's a de-stressor. Je fume avec mes copains. I smoke with my friends. Positive. Pour. Selon moi, c'est stupide et je déteste l'odeur des cigarettes. That's against, and the vocabulary was kind there. According to me, it's stupid and I hate the smell of cigarettes. 5. Je suis dépendante. Je trouve que fumer me donne confiance. I am dependent. I am addicted. I find that smoking gives me confidence. So I find it gives me confidence. Positive. Now, on this note, I've put here dépendant with an E on the end. This is because the person speaking is supposedly a girl. Now, on some of the previous work that I've had, a lot of you, particularly the girls, because that's who it would affect, you're sometimes forgetting to add that extra E when you're using a word that describes yourself. Dépendant. In this case, you're describing yourself as dependent. You need an E. Any adjective that describes a female, chuck an E on the end. Particularly girls if you're describing yourselves. And finally, number 6, ma tante, my auntie, a fumé, my auntie smoked, et elle est morte, she's dead, or she died from lung cancer. Obviously, that is against. And once again, you can feel free to use any vocabulary from these statements later on. Okay, on to a reading task here now. Again, I've taken this from the textbook that we would use as if we were in school. We've got 2 statements from Jan and Karim, and they're talking about their relationship with cigarettes. I'll read out just so you can hear what it all sounds like, and there will be some questions coming afterwards. So Jan says, je n'ai jamais fumé. Ce n'est pas bon pour la santé et c'est cher. Je ne veux même pas sortir avec quelqu'un qui fume. Je déteste l'odeur de la fumée sur les vêtements. J'ai une copine qui est dépendante. Elle a arrêté plusieurs fois, mais elle a toujours recommencé. Okay. And Karim says, j'ai arrêté il y a 6 mois parce que c'est un gaspillage d'argent. Mais c'est difficile parce que presque tous les élèves de ma classe fument. Pourtant, c'est très dangereux de fumer. Mon grand-père est mort d'un cancer des poumons. Now, if we were in the classroom and we had this in front of us, before I gave you the questions, I would say, look, read through this. Will you understand every word? Chances are probably not. There may be one or two words here that you think, I don't know, I'm not sure. Fine. Don't panic too much. Sometimes those words that you don't know, they're not even relevant because of the questions that follow. However, what I would say is I'm going to give you a couple of minutes beforehand to grab a dictionary or use, in this case, wordreference.com and find out any words that you do not know what they mean in English. For example, this one here, mem. M-E with a little hat on it, M-E. Doesn't mean meme, right? This is an Insta. Mem. In this case, it doesn't add anything to the answer, so it doesn't matter. Mem, it means even. Je ne veux même pas. I don't even want. So, if you want to make some notes on what the vocabulary means, then feel free, either use your dictionary or use www.wordreference.com. And then when you've done that, you have these questions or these phrases to deal with. It says, obviously, lis les deux textes. We've done that. Read the two texts. And then pour chaque phrase, écrivez Y for Jan, K for Karim, or YK if it's both. So what we want to know here is which of these people say these statements. So I don't smoke, I have a friend who can't give up, I know someone who died from smoking, I stopped smoking because of the cost, I hate the idea of going out with someone who smokes, I'm concerned about the health risks, the smell of smoke bothers me, and lots of my school friends smoke. If it's Jan, put a Y. If it's K, put a K for Kareem, and if they both say it, put Y and K. And as ever, make a note of any new vocabulary that's come up that you feel might be useful. Okay, so you might want to pause the screen recording at this stage while you do the task. I am now about to give the answers. So the person who says I don't smoke, or is both of them actually. Y and K, Jan and Kareem. The person with a friend who can't give up smoking is Jan. Kareem knew someone who died from it. It's the grandfather. Kareem stopped smoking because of the cost. And Jan hates the idea of going out with someone who smokes. Je ne veux même pas. I don't even want to go out with someone who smokes. I'm concerned about the health risks, both of them. The smell of smoke bothers him, it's Jan. And finally, lots of my school friends smoke. Kareem. Now, this is the thing we're reading, okay? You would never, not say never, but it would have been quite a difficult task for me to say, right, translate lots of my school friends smoke. Perhaps we don't know where to begin with that, but you probably picked up the word ma classe in this text, and you can work around it to get the answer. Brilliant. So all of this stuff is very typical of what you might expect to find on a GCSE exam paper. Now I know it seems a long way off, but we have got to build up these skills, and going into an exam without an effective strategy is a bad idea, I will say. So the next task that we do will be listening. Listening, as I said before, is probably one of the exams that causes people the most stress and anxiety. Not sure why. I think it's because you're out of your comfort zone, stuff like that. But you can do little tricks that can help. So, for example, listening to this tone of the voice. Does this person sound as if they approve? Brilliant. Or disapprove? No. Boo. Sometimes that can help. We did a lot of work last week on negatives. So, the week before, negative expressions, things that use ne pas. For example, je ne pense pas, I don't think. Je ne fume jamais. Things like that. Listen for negative words. If you know that the word is negative, dégoûtant, disgusting, that might help. Predict what might be said. You know, it's very, very rare that they say something completely ridiculous. Generally, it's probably what you might expect, so listen for words you might associate with the topic: gaspillage, waste, cancer de poumon, lung cancer, so on and so forth. And there's obviously the reading strategies too, which I'm not going to get into too much, but you can have a read of that in your own time. So now we're going to do a listening task. Like last time, it's quite difficult to do this remotely, so you'll need a grid like that, and you need to do a few things. You need to tell me, first of all, does this person smoke? Simple yes or no. You can answer in English. Give me the reason. Why does this person say they smoke? And any other details that you can pick out. Okay, so we'll do number 1 together, and then you're on your own. I will say each phrase twice, and you're answering in English. Okay, so right, number 1, smoking, yes or no? What's the reason? Any other details? Je ne fume pas parce que c'est dégoûtant et je déteste l'odeur de la fumée sur les vêtements. Again, je ne fume pas parce que c'est dégoûtant et je déteste l'odeur de la fumée sur les vêtements. So remember what we said about listening strategies on the previous slide. We should have there that this person does not smoke. The reason being that it's disgusting, and they hate the fact that the clothes smell. And this was taken literally from one of the Yan or Kareem texts. Those are both reasons and other details actually, so it doesn't really matter where you've put what, as long as you've got those details. Okay, numéro 2. This person says, je ne fume pas parce que ça coûte cher. J'économise mon argent pour une moto. So this person tells you why, with a reason as well. Je ne fume pas parce que ça coûte cher. J'économise mon argent pour une moto. Because we're online here, if you miss something, you are free to rewind the screen recording if you want to hear it again. But in an exam situation, you'd only hear it twice. I'll go through all the answers for 2 to 7 right at the end. Number 3. Oui, je fume. C'est relaxant. Les examens au collège sont stressants. That's oui, je fume, c'est relaxant. Les examens au collège sont stressants. Number 4. Oui, je fume car je pense que l'obésité est pire. And that's a new word which we don't know, but can we figure it out? Oui, je fume car je pense que l'obésité est pire. Number 5. Oui, je fume car ça me donne confiance et on a l'air cool. Oui, je fume car ça me donne confiance et on a l'air cool. Number 6. Je ne fume jamais car mon père est mort d'un cancer du poumon. Je ne fume jamais car mon père est mort d'un cancer du poumon. And 7. Non, je ne fume pas. C'est mauvais pour la santé. C'est difficile d'arrêter. Again, non, je ne fume pas. C'est mauvais pour la santé. C'est difficile d'arrêter. Alright, so a real mix of difficulty there, one or two new words which might be useful later on. Obviously we did number 1. Number 2, this person does not smoke. Je ne fume pas. Because it costs a lot, ça coûte cher. And they also say that they're saving for a motorbike. Where you hear the word moto, don't panic if you didn't get that. It's new vocabulary. It was just interesting to see what you can pick up. J'économise, economize, saving. Mon argent, my money, pour une moto. Number 3, this person smokes. Oui, je fume. Because it's relaxing, c'est relaxant. And that's because les examens au collège sont stressants. Tests or exams in school are stressful. If you've put exams and not tests, that's fine. It's potato in this context. 4. Yes, je fume car je pense que l'obésité est pire. Eating too much is worse. Obesity is worse. It's better to smoke than become obese. Anything like that. The word pire, P-I-R-E, meaning worse. If you've got anything that suggests that overeating is worse than smoking, you get the marks. 5. This person smokes as well. Je fume car ça me donne confiance et on a l'air cool. Feel cool and gives me confidence. 7. This person does not smoke. In fact, they never smoke. Je ne fume jamais parce que mon père est mort d'un cancer du poumon, because the father died of lung cancer. Well done if you picked up the ne fume jamais. And finally, number 7, this person does not smoke. C'est mauvais pour la santé, it's bad for your health, et c'est difficile d'arrêter. It's hard to stop, not hard to quit. And there you have another listening in the bag. Good to practice. Hope you found that okay. You'll see that there are phrases here that we've seen in previous slides. And that makes things a little bit easier. Moving on. Okay, so this topic is all about giving your opinion, and there's so many different ways in which you can do that. Again, I'm just going for a simple for or against here. Here we have 12 ready-made sentences which can give your opinion positively or negatively. Sometimes it does help to read them out to yourself. Remember that sometimes words that sound like English usually are the same. C'est adulte de fumer is done for us. 4. I'll read them out and then I'll give you some helpful vocabulary on the next slide. And then I'll go through the answers. So number 2, ça pue, je n'aime pas. 3. Si on fume à proximité des enfants, c'est pas bon. Really, that should read ce n'est pas bon. That would be quite slang way of writing. Don't write like that in your exam. Ce n'est pas bon. Number 4, this is an idiom. C'est jeter l'argent par les fenêtres. We like this phrase. Star it, highlight it, whatever. It's a good one. It's a mark gainer. Les cigarettes me donnent confiance en moi. On est vite dépendant. Après, c'est difficile de laisser tomber. Remember, I'm not looking for a translation here. I'm looking for, is it for or against smoking? 7. C'est agréable de fumer une clope. Remember that from the first slide. Avec ses copains. Si on fume, on risque d'avoir un cancer du poumon. Je fume pour me décrisper. Brilliant word. I'll get into the meaning in a little bit. Je fume pour me décrisper. Une cigarette à la main donne confiance. Fumer, c'est déstressant. And le tabac, tobacco, est mauvais pour les poumons et la respiration. So all we wanted here was, is the statement for or against, pour ou contre, but before you do that, here's some key vocabulary which is turned up. Puer or ça pue, it stinks. Si, jeter, to throw. Une fenêtre, a window. So if you put the two together, I said it was an idiom. What would you throw out the window? Vite, quickly. Laisser tomber, to give up. Agréable, pleasant. Une clope, a fag, as in like the cigarette from the first slide. Le poumon, lung, and se décrisper is a slang term for relax. Literally means to decrisp yourself. Yeah, very strange. So that list of vocabulary might help and lead you to the answers. Again, it might be an idea now to pause the screen recording, do your answers, and then I will go through them now. So number 1 was done for us. It's for ça pue, je n'aime pas. It stinks, I don't like it. Against. Number 3. If we smoke around children, it's not good. Against. Here's your idiom. You can use this for many things. C'est jeter l'argent par les fenêtres. It's like throwing money out of the window. Cigarettes give me confidence, or give me confidence in myself. Pour. We're very quickly dependent, or we're quickly addicted. Afterwards, it's difficult to give up. That's obviously against. It's pleasant to smoke a fag with friends. That's for. If you smoke, you have risk of lung cancer. That's against. I smoke to relax, or I smoke to decrisp myself. To relax. A cigarette in the hand gives confidence. For. To smoke, it's de-stressing, it's relaxing. For. And le tabac, tobacco, is bad for the lungs and breathing. Respiration. Excellent. Okay, hopefully you'll find that these statements are quite handy. Ready-made statements that you might want to use in the next task, which is a writing task. I simply want to know, que penses-tu de fumer? What do you think of smoking? I want you to donner ton opinion, give your opinion sur le sujet des cigarettes, on the subject of cigarettes. I'm not going to tell anyone what you say. Certainly won't be grassing you up to your parents or anything like that. You can be sure of that. Just try to give a balanced answer, the plus and negative points of smoking. Open with an opinion phrase. Try and stay away from je pense que. We've now got lots that we can use. Je trouve que, je crois que, I believe that. Pour moi, for me, selon moi, according to me. C'est juste de dire. It's fair to say. And then whatever you want to say, try to justify your opinion. If you're going to say something, always say why. With a because, and then give your facts. No real word limit on this. Obviously, the more you can write, the better. See what you can do, and remember, try and use everything that we've got from this lesson and the list of 40 words from last week's lesson, which you might find useful. Brilliant. So when you've done that, there is only one more task from you, which is, I forgot about that. Some keywords that obviously my previous class or classes have asked for. Things like frankly, honestly, I will never smoke. How to say that someone agrees with you. That's a very good point, actually, saying that someone agrees with you. The exam board would like you to talk about other people, so if you can do that, it's an instant mark gainer. And how to say you're worried. Great. As I was saying, the final task then is going to rely on you speaking. So there are 3 questions here for you to answer. I would like you to try and record yourself answering these questions and upload them to Moodle. Now, you don't need to go nuts, okay? I'm not looking for a big essay. I just want to know, tu fumes? Et pourquoi? Do you smoke and why? Quels sont les avantages de la cigarette? What are the advantages of cigarette? And quels sont les inconvénients de la cigarette? What are the inconveniences of a cigarette? So it's quite similar to what you've actually written here, I would have thought, but split up into different questions. Now, as I say, record yourself answering these questions, upload to Moodle. If you can't do that or you're having issues, you can always email the recording to my hub account and I can upload it for you. Don't overthink or overcomplicate. Try to use vocabulary from this lesson to build your answers. I also recommend stealing from the question. Start your answer. Very often starting the answer is the hardest part. So literally steal. It says here, right? Quels sont les avantages de la cigarette? Well, I can start with les avantages de la cigarette sont. A little bit of reordering, and then you list all of your advantages. As I say, don't need you to go nuts here. Obviously, the more you are speaking, the better it is in terms of practice. You'll never regret speaking. It's just for me to assess how you sound. You know, are you making major pronunciation issues? I will say that no one listens to this other than me. Okay, it's not going to be spreading your French accent around the school. It's just for me to listen to and mark you on, and that will be that. So it seems like quite a lot of work this week. I do appreciate your efforts. You have until next week, really, next Monday. Upload to Moodle, and thank you very much.